Hello, everybody. Welcome to Creatio and Amdocs Lunch Learn event. Let's wait maybe for another minute to people to join, and we will start in a minute.
Sure, Boris.
I think people are still joining, so let's maybe wait another minute or two, and then we will start. Yeah.
Hello, Nigel. Hello, Boris.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining.
Good, good. Nigel, you're far too close to the screen. It feels like you're in the room with me.
Idris,
that's the whole plan, Idris. That's the whole plan.
Great to hear you, Idris. How are you doing?
Thanks, Boris. I'm going on mute, right? To tell me I'm on live.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Thanks, Idris.
Yeah, we have still people joining, so I think in a minute or two we will start. Next time I need to put some music as a background to keep people waiting in a nice atmosphere.
Yeah, it's actually, I mean, the format is lunch and learn. So in real life, people were supposed to have lunch and some drinks while we were waiting for everybody to join.
Yeah. No, in fact, we planned this event before this coronavirus period to be conducted in some nice place in Cape Town. But things happened, and we are doing in e-mode, electronic mode, but still people need to enjoy their lunch. I cannot prevent.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And this is exactly at lunchtime, at least at the place where I'm located.
Yeah, indeed. So
yeah, right, Boris. I think
let's start because we have a very busy agenda to cover, and I will respect people that already joined. And again, everything is connected, guys, so don't feel uncomfortable. We will share the presentation. So first of all, thank you again for joining us in this e-lunch and learn event. We going today to discuss how this low-code platform are helping financial services clients. And Amdocs, together with Creatio, are coming with a very attractive solution to that need. And we will cover it today. So the agenda will be as following. We will present ourselves and the companies. We will then touch based on some pain points and the low-code trends. Then we will present some areas of low-code platform for banks that may be relevant for each of you. And then we will talk about some customer success stories and the use cases. We'll keep some time for Q&A that I already encouraging all you to open your mic or to send us via the chat, so we will be able to respond. So with that, I would like to present ourselves. Starting from myself, I'm Boris Potyomkin, leading the financial services business development in Amdocs, based in Israel, traveling a lot, not on these days, unfortunately, but managing all our Amdocs financial clients globally, and specifically in Africa. I will later on touch base on the clients, but with Amdocs more than 15 years and more than 10 years in financial services. So Mike, would you like to present yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Boris. Hi, everyone. Happy to be here and to present you the Creatio solution together with the Amdocs team. My name is Mike. I'm a regional director at Creatio, responsible for EMEA and APAC regions, working closely with Amdocs on multiple opportunities and specifically focused on financial services and banking domain.
Thank you, Mike. Nigel, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so Nigel Walker, I'm a program manager with Amdocs Financial Services based in Johannesburg. And I have over 20 odd years of banking experience, specifically in the pricing domain, pricing and marketing domain. So I'll hopefully be presenting some a use case a little bit later on for you.
Thanks, Nigel. Okay, so I will spend some few words about Amdocs for those of you that are not familiar with our company. So we are a global leader that modernizing, digitizing, and automating the telecommunications, media, and financial services industry for more than 35 years. We are pretty big, more than 26,000 employees globally, with more than 350 clients across the world in more than 85 countries. And we are unique in positioning of ourselves because we are developing the product. We are also implementing them on the client base and operating them in managed services or operational model. So we are combining both vendor and SI capabilities in one place. And this actually brings us to a better understanding of client needs and the project development lifecycle. With this, we have also a broad ecosystem of innovation partner. One of them are Creatio that we will present later on. We are constantly trying to innovate our solutions with some of the acquisitions that we did over the years. And we will show you later how it reflects in our portfolio of solutions. Speaking about our customer base, as I said, we are cross sectors globally. You can see some logos in Africa itself, like Safaricom, Telkom SA in telecommunication markets, Standard Bank in, as a group in Africa, as well as some other countries with our mobile financial services portfolio. So overall, we have like 35 plus financial services and mobile financial services clients, as well as a big amount of communication and media companies that we are providing them full BSS and OSS spec with a lot of digital modernization that in these days are really happening as we speak. And you can see some of the logos where we're actually doing now this digital modernization project. Regarding our portfolio for banks, we are coming from billing and pricing domain originally as a company. And during the years, we expanded to other areas of customer management, product management, and partner management systems. We have a very sophisticated product catalog solution called Catalog One. We have different solutions in the space of digital and cybersecurity services, as well as data privacy and partner relationship management. We will focus today on a solution that's called Billing Manager that actually we developed together with Creatio to the market of concession management in a more B2B domain for the bank. And we will talk to this later. For a digital engagement part, we are typically integrating with banks channels, assisted and unassisted, as well as some of them coming to different types of CRM model in a way. So we have our call center solutions, we have our in-store or branch-based applications, and we are typically exposing our digital enablement modules as an APIs that can be easily integrated with banking front ends that bank mostly prefer to develop by itself to have this differentiation. We have also intelligence layer that in fact covering all of our solutions and providing a lot of insights and recommendations for the data that we are keeping in the system. With this, I will let Mike to present Creatio. Mike?
Yeah, so thank you, Boris. Thank you for the introduction. So I'm happy to present Creatio here, a premium vendor of a low-code BPM platform and of a full-fledged CRM solutions, right? So we've been on the market for more than 17 years already, with 5 offices located around the globe, with a headquarters in Boston, Massachusetts. Currently, we are 650 people strong, and that number continues to grow. And we have more than 700 of trustful partners worldwide. And we are very proud to have Amdocs as our global strategic partner. Creatio is also recognized by world-leading analysts such as Gartner and Forrester, and we are scored in several Gartner quadrants and are proud to be recognized as leader in 2 of them, right? As well as a strong performer according to Forrester's. And talking about our differentiators and unique positioning on the market, we can, refer to 3 main features, or as we call it, Creatio superpowers, right, which differentiate us from the other solutions available out there on the market, right? And the first differentiator here is a BPM engine, which actually allows organizations to transform and automate their business processes and workflows and remain pretty flexible in this, ever-changing environment. Another thing is a low-code platform, which basically allows to implement those changes at a high speed, right? Because it doesn't require any technical knowledge to implement the changes and build those applications. And of course, last but not least, is a unified environment for managing customer relationships, right? And a unified CRM that covers sales, marketing, and service, and aligns all of those modules on a single platform. And that basically creates a single solution, a unique environment, combining all of those 3 powerful features. So yeah, moving forward, I just wanted to show you a quick snapshot of the portfolio of our customers from the banking domain and financial institutions. So I believe these logos, they do not need additional introduction. Of course, we have much more customers out of that domain, but here I just wanted to show you that we work with and proud to be working with recognized banking groups like BNP Paribas, OTP Group, Arab Bank. We work with National Bank of Saudi Arabia, Saudi Payments, and also, as Boris mentioned, a handful of other widely recognized organizations on the global scale. Right. Just a few words about unique collaboration of Amdocs and Creatio and how we complement each other with the solutions and services provided, right? So Creatio provides a top-notch technology for when we are talking about low-code platforms, a BPM platform, and a full-fledged CRM solution, together with a deep understanding and a deep knowledge of the banking domain and financial services, right? While Amdocs complements it all with a robust solution for billing and pricing, which is a catalog one, and of course a support with the implementation services and the support together with operations and managed services provided on the global scale, right, and available at any corner of the earth. So yeah, at this point of time, I just wanted to make a dive into the current state of things in financial institutions and to the industry specifics, right? And talk about how low code can be helpful there and what are the latest trends for now. So if we try to summarize everything in this slide and take a look at the main challenges for financial industry at this point of time, right? And first of all, I just wanted to talk about the increased competition from all those, startups and fintechs that are growing nowadays and keep on, acquiring more of the market share This is something that traditional banks cannot ignore and have to take into account when building up their strategy for future growth, right? A second challenge is constant changes of the business model and the basically the environment where you operate, right? And this coronavirus thing is another evidence of that, right? You have to be flexible. You have to be able to adapt to new business challenges and to new environments if you want to continue growing your business and providing the best level of service to your customer. And that brings us to the third point, is an ever-growing expectations from our customers, right? And that's actually connected to the tremendous technology growth these days, right? Because people are, they simply got used to receive the responses to their inquiries almost immediately, right? If they want to order food, if they're hungry, they will simply open the application and order the food. If they want to search for some information, right, to make the right decision, they will just Google for it, right, and get the response instantly. The same is true for their expectations for getting the services from their banks, right? They want to have immediate responses. They want to have that excellent level of services, communication, and resolving the resolution of their problems immediately. And that actually is complemented by the fact that is represented down there, that according to one of the latest McKinsey's research, right, the operations management in banks and financial institutions consumes from 15 to 20% of their annual budget, which is a huge amount, right? And focusing on improvement in that area will affect the profitability in the positive way, and of course will increase the return the capital to the stakeholders. And this is the area that most of the banks and financial institutions should be also focused on, right? Together with all the challenges that I have outlined just a moment ago. So that brings us to a brief summary that from the customer facing point of view, you have to be ready to respond to these very high expectations from your customer and increasing competition. And the solution here is being flexible, right? And having a proper technology which help you to accommodate and actually overcome those challenges and requests from your customers and stay in line with their expectations. So let's take a look at how does the technology market looks like right now, right? If we are talking about local platforms and the applications for the business. So according to the latest Gartner's research, right? So by 2024, local platform development will be responsible for more than 65% of applications and development activity, right? It simply means that 65% of all of the applications developed in the world will be developed with the help of the local technology, right? And if you're asking yourself why, probably we should move to the next slide to take a look at another statistics, right? Which says that in 1 year or even faster, right, the market demand for business applications development will grow 5 times. Can you imagine that number? I mean, imagine just the amount of application development today, and less than in 6 months, it will go, yeah, can you go to the previous slide, Boris? So that I can just finish with that. So in just less than 6 months, it will grow for 5 times, right? Which brings us to the next problem, the capacity of IT resources. It means that there will be simply not enough of the developers to accommodate such a requirement for the business application. And that's actually the reason for the tremendous growth of a low-code technology market. If you take a look at the volume of the market just 2 years back, it hardly reached 4 billion, right? And in 2 years from now, it is supposed to grow to 21 billion, which is a tremendous growth, right? And it's actually, but there is a well explanation for that, right? We understand that business needs a proper technology to, accommodate their requirements for new applications. And the applications are needed to keep it up with the pace of the business growth and responding to ever-growing customer needs, which actually shows us that we are now entering a completely new era where any business application or any business idea can be automated in a minute, right? At no time at all. And let me just give you a quick example here, right? Just to make it more, comprehensive. And this is my favorite comparison. Let's take a look at the photography, right? And imagine yourself 10 years back. And if you want to do the photography of that quality that you see on the screen right now, right? 10 years back, you would require, apart from some, special skills, you would require some special equipment, which is pricey. I mean, a camera, which is pricey, probably heavy, right? And not very convenient to use, right? But that was the only way to get the pictures of that quality. And take a look at the situation right now. Everything you need, and I believe you will not be surprised if I tell you that all of these pictures were made with the help of the regular smartphone, right? It means that you have the proper technology to do that in your pocket, right here, right now, available 24/7. And this is a good example how technology transformed the way and enabled people, right, to do something great. Why wouldn't we apply this example for the business, right? Because we know that business needs something similar like this, a proper technology to automate their needs, to automate the processes and to cover their needs and business requests in a timely manner, to be addressed. And this is exactly what Creatio provides. And the low-code technology shines in its all grace, right? Because this technology provides you with the ability to create business process, workflow, or some sort of a dashboard, something that you need in your business activity without having any technical knowledge or development skills, simply by drag and drop. And this is the concept of everyone a developer, which Creatio represents with the low-code BPM platform. So
Thanks, Mike. I think maybe let's pause for a minute. I would like, first of all, to encourage people to raise any question. I think after this great background and overview, you will have also some ideas to your case. Does it reflect your challenges or your needs? So feel free to put some questions in our chat. We will now take a little bit deep dive on the platform itself, on some modules and the impact for the project development lifecycle. So, Mike, you can continue from here.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The thing that I mentioned can basically be applied for any type of business. But here today, we are interested to see what it can do specifically for banks and financial institutions. And for that purpose, I wanted to briefly present you with the concept of a single environment which can be created with Creatio, right? And as you see here, with the help of our solution, you can cover all lines of business and basically all customer-facing and internal operations, right? If we are talking to CRM, the sales, marketing, and service are unified on a single platform, then it can be used for automation of processes for your front office, or in branches, and operations in the corporate banking as well, right? And different lines of business there, like I'm talking about SME banking, private banking, like regular retail banking, and so on and so forth, right? If we are talking about mid-office, we can see that this low-code technology can be used for automation of verification and underwriting processes, product catalog management, compliance management, and so on and so forth, right? Not mentioning like an endless number of internal operations, which can be also automated with the help of that, right? And first of all, a complete 360 customer profile will be created, and that will be adding different workflows and processes on top of it, right? Automating the retail banking processes, sales operations, marketing, customer service, such standard processes as KYC, customer onboarding, account opening, and so on and so forth. And there are also different layers that are part of the solution as well, right? So the analytics and dashboards is included. Business process management engine enables you to build and tweak business processes to your needs. Dynamic case management for workflow automation. productivity and the collaboration tools for internal, both internal and external communication, and of course integrations with different applications which are out there in your technology infrastructure. And I'm talking about payment systems, core banking systems, and basically any other applications with which we can either integrate directly or through ESB, or using any other technology for connection and actually feed in the data right into that solution. So the whole idea here is to have a single environment instead of multiple different applications and screens for almost every employee and every role in the bank, starting from I would say, teller in the branch or a branch manager up to the CEO of the bank, right? And that actually not only increases the productivity and the adoption of the solution, but actually helps you to unify all of the operations, and at the end of the day, increase drastically the level of service that you will be providing as a bank or any other financial institution to your end customer.
Thanks, Mike. I think it was a great overview of your platform. So let's see how we in Amdocs actually take all those assets and tools to our implementation lifecycle. So as you can imagine, and you are familiar with your own traditional development solutions, you are always working or trying to working with your IT teams, but they are very constrained by the cumbersome custom development projects. And especially when it comes to specific packaged applications with little flexibility, it takes time to change and also to reuse different assets in the bank that different sides, if it's business or retail banking, needs for approval or for typical accounting or even onboarding customer. So in real life, it takes not only time, but it's hard to customize a very high specific processes because each and every time you feel that you need to create it from scratch. So what actually we are doing in Amdocs on top of Creatio technologies with this low-code platform, we allow you to low-code to actually reduce TCO via this low-code development of packaged application with these bespoke capabilities of custom development. And in practical means, it actually allow you to automate as much as possible your full life cycle of project development, starting with process modeling and documentation. We have a very rich library of predefined processes. For example, approval process, customer onboarding process, sometimes SMB versus retail templates that are typically changing in sales or marketing area as well as in support. And this actually brings us to application lifecycle management. Once you create this process library for yourself, you can start easily to do instantiation of application out of the box of the platform. So the platform is a user interface with predefined toolkits to provide you feedbacks, different types of interaction between the team. And we will show you some examples in our use case. From administration perspective, it also allows you to really provide to any of your employee. As Mike said, everyone is developer. So you can put a role of system admin or a kind of super advisor to allow user and role administration with seamless connectivity to your LDAP or other Active Directory organizational platforms. It's easy also to manage the whole user management role and responsibility. So it's not enough to define just a login or SSO process. It's also we need to define the actual activities that each of the users, if it's sales, if it's marketing, if it's product management or approval, person need to do. So all this access rights management is included in the tool. It's easy to manage. And the last but not least, the platform is coming with a lot of design tools. So when we're talking about UI designer, it brings you a lot of flexibility to design specific screens and specific tabs in a way that you want to define them. We have the same designer for data model. So imagine your data model changing between different applications like customer model or product model. So we can actually align here some unified model as well. It comes, of course, with all this case designer for business cases as well as different steps in the processes. We will also show you later how easy it can be done. The system, from out-of-the-box perspective, support with full business rules designer as well. So imagine that each and every step can be conditionally set according to some business rule outcome. And last but not least, it's also allow you to automatically create a mobile application out of the box. So whenever you create your UI and UX experience, your mobile experience will be reflected in a way that you will be able to take it to your field sales or guys that are not in the office and working as simple as this as a back office guys. Regarding integrations and APIs, it's a very important part of the platform that streamlines the whole project implementation. Creatio platform coming with a built-in web service, REST service, different type of communication patterns, as well as exposing APIs as REST APIs out of the box. It supports microservices architectural and the cloud development because the system runs on both cloud and on-prem. So it's easier to integrate with any applications that one has in its IT landscape. And it will allow us as an implementer to really reuse some of those connectors from Creatio Marketplace, where you can find more than thousands ready-made solutions for example, SAP, Salesforce integration, etc., that you don't need to invent a wheel and do it as a WYSIWYG approach or low-code development approach. So in a nutshell, this is a very valuable solution, not only for the business creation idea, but also realization idea. Because we, in the end of the day, coming and bringing to the bank a new culture of empowering your employees as a citizen developers across different sides of the bank. It allows you also to increase agility and reduce some, shiny walls and silos in a way that you are today connecting business and IT. Because everybody will talk the same language, will have the same tools and the same kind of a platform in order to use it for the application development. And of course, from the UI and UX perspective, it's very easy to adjust a very, for our at least experience, very advanced UI capabilities of Creatio to your own needs. So each and every application will be different, and we will show you some of the examples that we did with Creatio in one of our ideas. So in a summary, this is key advantages of this low-code platform. And also today, after some time, Creatio also came and packaged some of those applications in sellable modules, like standalone modules, for example, for customer journey, from end-to-end processing, from a bank front office and contact center management perspective, lending processes. We have some examples of providing your loan origination and approvals and the different type of KYC processes that are already including in process of lending, as well as sales and marketing, lead and opportunity management, campaign management, etc. So this is already ready-made modules, and if you will have more details, we will share with you some of the specific use cases for each of them. So I trust you have some questions already, and please put them on the chat. And with this, we will move to our success stories part. So we will start with Mike to represent some existing success stories from your side, and then we will talk what Amdocs did in our case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so thank you, Boris, for this. Before we jump into a detailed use case with Amdocs, I just wanted to quickly share two success stories from Creatio. Right, the first one is OTP Bank, right? One of the largest and the oldest groups in the Eastern Europe, right? So currently they have around 13 million of customers and more than 1,500 of branches across the Eastern Europe, right? The challenge that they faced several years back when we first started talking to them, right, was that they came up with a strategy for the 10 years growth, right? And in order to execute the strategy, they were, they needed to remove all the roadblocks. And when they started to, identify those roadblocks, they came up with the, understanding that the main thing that holds them back from growing and scaling their business is, lack of operational productivity, a lot of misalignment between departments within the organization, a lot of manual work that their people do, right? And lack of visibility to the management and on different levels, right? Which basically led them to the decision that they need to bring some technology and automation to all those areas in order to improve it drastically and remove those roadblocks, right? And this is where they have decided to go with Creatio, and they have chosen Creatio over Microsoft Dynamics there, which was the main competitor, for our ability to deliver a full-fledged CRM and BPM solution for them, right? Which would create that single environment to cover all of those areas, right? And unify them in a single place. Therefore, eliminate the silos, create a seamless experience, both for employees and customers, and for the management as well. Right, so the solutions that we provided to OTP was the centralized back office activities, right? Configured loan management processes, automation of account opening and customer onboarding processes, creation, of course, and the 360 customer view and integration with their ECM solution and the rest of the core applications from the bank, right? Which helped them actually to improve their productivity a lot and maintain that 10-year growth strategy, because they have the flexibility to change their system and adjust it to the change in business environment, right? They have chosen it for 10 years, and this is a long run, to be honest, right? And the solution that we implemented at that time is changed today already, but they were able to accommodate those changes only with their in-house team, right? Without any assistance of the vendor, which is Creatio, or any service integrators, because of this local nature, which makes it really easy to adopt and tweak to the new inputs from the business. The second case is Biblis Bank, which is also one of the largest banks in Lebanon and among the oldest ones. They have more than 22 billion of assets under management, right? And their main challenge was the challenge that they faced is, again, the thing that the pace of their growth was decreased, and they were starting to look for the reason. It was not very hard to find it because it was right there on the surface. The reason was the obsolete solutions and technology that they were using, right, for managing their customer-facing operations. And I'm talking about call center, I'm talking about marketing and omni-channel, outreach to the customers. I'm talking about sales process. So they had different applications for each of this purpose. Some of them were built internally by their in-house team. Some of them they purchased a decade back, right? And they didn't even support some, the new technologies because they simply could not integrate with them. They could not be upgraded, and so on and so forth. That created a lot of, issues, not only for their internal stuff, but also for the customers, which did not experience the expected level of service. And this is again where Creatio came into play with a single solution for CRM and BPM, right? So we started with an automation of their call center activity. This is where main issues were. And then the second phase is for automation of branches. And Biblos Bank, they operate not only in Lebanon, but also across 12 different countries, including Europe, Africa, and the Middle East, right? And Creatio was chosen as a solution for the front end for their customer-facing operations. And now we are exploring more of the opportunities for automating their internal operations as well.
Great, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, I try to keep it very brief because we are having, we have some time limitations, and I can just wait to jump into the detailed use case with Amdocs. But I'll be more than happy and open to share the details of this use case, case studies of Creatio, as well as the other ones with you, like offline or as a part of a different interaction. And just now, feel free to post your questions in chat so that we can take them after the presentation of this Amdocs use case during our Q&A session, please.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike. It is really encouraging use cases and case studies that shows different examples of low-code platform use with respect to the bank challenges that are totally different, but they can reuse the same platform for different needs. So this is exactly what we see also in our case. So in our case, we will talk about some applications that is still not on the production. That's why we are talking about it's no-name bank, but I will let Nigel even better explain it than me, and taking us to this usage and the examples.
Thanks, Boris. Okay, so we're talking about something that we're busy developing on behalf of a large African banking group. Generally, the challenge here is that bespoke pricing for customers, especially in the business and corporate banking markets, where clients are requesting discounted pricing on specific line items. Because those are dispersed across multiple platforms, it's quite difficult to actually manage that. You're having to have multiple different processes to manage pricing across a client's relationship. So the intention here is to try and bring everything together. From a solutions perspective, if you just click once. Yeah, so we're looking at centralizing the pricing, a centralized pricing management solution that enables a single view and real-time view of pricing across a client relationship. The ability to then make changes, ad hoc changes, as well as annual pricing changes for clients on an automated basis. And if you're looking at a group across multiple countries, obviously your approval processes need to be different. So you need the flexibility to be able to have different processes for different markets. Advanced management, so a relationship manager can actually log onto a platform, make adjustments and changes as they discuss with the client. Obviously, all of that requires integration into your Active Directory or client, your login access, because you do have Chinese walls between clients, so they can only see, relationship manager. You only want him to see the clients that he is applicable or dealing with, and you can't see pricing for other clients. We also need to then have the connection between a client and the salesperson or the banker, and that requires your integration to your CRM or, in this case, it was a Salesforce platform. And then you obviously need to have the pricing visible, so you need to access the pricing from your core applications, bring it into the platform, and then pass it back on an automated basis. So if we move on to the next slide, using the Creatio low-code platform to enable the automation of those processes. So the example that we're going to show today shows a standard pricing function, not a concession pricing at a customer level. So this is more for the standard baseline pricing for products and services. In this instance, what we're showing here is the business process and notation tool, which is part of the Creatio platform. And what we do here is create the actual transactions or the approval flows. So on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see all the little colored blocks. Those are the building tools that allow us to build the processes. Your first blue block is the pricing administrator who would capture the relevant pricing for that specific price plan. There were, in this case, 6 different approvals, potential approvals, only 3 of which needed to approve, and then the price can be approved. So by building the process, this just shows a very simple process flow with the various approvals. If it's rejected, what the case happens, and how things are managed from there. If you move to the next slide, Boris. Okay, so within the platform, what we're doing is for every single one of those decision processes. So once you make the relevant changes to the price plan, what we've done is we've built in the automated emailing to the various approvers, both on the platform as well as through either an SMS or an external email using Outlook, etc. We can integrate to those. It provides the approver with a view to say, you now have an approval. Again, each of these steps is built. So, once it's approved, we then send emails back to the submitter to advise that it's approved. If it's rejected, we also send emails back to each of the individuals to say that it's been rejected. If you move on to the next flow, we'll actually start seeing some of the screens. So this screen is a login. So the relevant pricing administrator is logging in. In this case, it's Ross. He's logging into the platform. When he logs in, what he will see is a template which on the left-hand side shows the activities that the administrator is capable of performing. In this case, they can manage concession flows, standard pricing flows, and back-end requests. The back-end requests relate to simple things like changing approval levels or roles that a participant has. So they're either an approver or they can apply for a change. In this instance, there's at the top here, we're seeing below the save and close, you're seeing the rate table. So in this instance, the client or the administrator is selecting the rate table that they want to make a change to, and they would click on the get rate details, which would then pull through the various pricing tables. Click to the next one, Boris. All right, so what we're seeing now is a screen which reflects the actual lower level pricing for that standard table. So there might be multiple tables. Every table would have its own underlying detail and the relevant pricing on the right-hand side. By clicking, there's the highlighted line there, move it into the changes. And what you'd be able to do then is make changes on the bottom of the screen. You'll see there's a rate and the new price. So you would then change the price to whatever the new price may be. Boris has already moved on to the next slide, so I'll get there. Once you've made the changes, you save it and you then submit it for approval. There's a little gray block up in the top middle of the screen. And you then track where it is. So we can see that this has now been submitted to approval. At that time, as per the previous slides that I showed, you send emails directly to each of the approvers. And if they log into the platform on the right-hand side, they would be able to see the notifications to say there's outstanding work for them to do. Whereas if you just click to the next one. Right, so what this is reflecting is once you've sent that through, you can track at any point where we are in the flow. So this is actually showing that it's been sent for approval, but the approval is outstanding in the status bar. So the ability to actually see where these things are in the process end to end, the pricing administrator can see that on any given day or time. Go to the next one, guys. I'm not going through all the detail. I mean, there's a lot of detail in this, in the, things like the effective dates, the rate table. There's a specific, every request has its own unique ID, the time that the deal was created, etc. So Boris has moved on to once the login of an approver, they will see all the outstanding items for approval that are in the inbox, either through one of the icons on the right-hand side of the screen. They can approve it directly, or they can log into the detail and actually see individual price points. If they feel that there's an error and they would like to review this, they can make comments on that application and reject it. It will go back to the administrator, who would then make the necessary changes and resubmit for approval. If you can click through to the next one. Once they've approved it, okay, the status bar obviously has all changed, and now there's a full approval. So again, in this instance, we had 3 required approvals. So at this point, 3 people have logged on, 3 people have approved it. There's been no rejections. If you just click through to the next one, Boris, you can then see who the approvers were for this concession or this standard price change request. And there's a full audit trail of all the changes, who's approved, if there were any changes, any documentation that's been linked to the application, or if there's a rejection, there will be comments applied. All of that is maintained in the platform and available for audit trails and reporting purposes. Thanks, Boris.
Actually, we are actually concluding this solution. Maybe one comment from my perspective on this solution. So it's a combined solution between Creatio and Amdocs. Actually, Creatio platform allow us to keep all those processes that Nigel just explained, but the whole data of pricing, you can imagine, resides somewhere, and that somewhere is Amdocs pricing and billing that we are actually keeping for this bank as a centralized place for all charge codes and for all hierarchy per customer structure. So the integration between Amdocs and Creatio in that case was very powerful. So from bank perspective, you actually see one flow end to end that is seamlessly integrated with. And we are closing to the end of the development. So I can tell you that all in all, it's the project in around 4 or 5 months with full integration, with full customization that you can see, or maybe I will come back for one slide. So whole user interface design, whole data model, whole processes and different visualized items like a notification panel that Nigel just mentioned, like different roles and responsibilities that we also need to manage for different type of users are done in the same time frame. So this was for us kind of a good use case to showcase what we can do with this platform in a bank environment. So thanks, Nigel, for this overview. I think we can take now some questions from the audience. I hope guys posted some questions to us. So I think the first question that I at least recognize was, if you introduce a low code environment, what organization changes might be expected? For example, new roles, multifunction teams, etc. So Mike, maybe you can answer this from your experience, and then maybe I conclude.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Boris. I'll be happy to take that one. And thanks, David, for asking this. So based in my experience, what I can tell you that no organizational changes is required as is, right? However, what I see our customers normally do, they create an internal competence center, right? A small team of professionals who are trained and certified with Creatio to develop the applications on the local platform, right? And those people are not developers, right? And it doesn't mean that they need to have some coding skills, right? Those people are like former administrators or business analysts that were, there in the bank. I have several examples where the solution and over the enterprise level was implemented by the service integrator together with the customer, and the team from the customer's end was just 2 people, right? But that was a solution for more than 1,000 of users, right? And that was implemented only in 3 months. It means that this low-code technology, it actually doesn't require a lot of resources to maintain it and support it, even after you go live. So those competence centers were created in order to support the system and perform further configuration and enhancements after go live, right? After the initial implementation is completed. As I said, a lot of our customers, they choose us for, in the span for 5 years duration, 10 years duration to support their growth strategy. And this is actually where low-code shines, because it provides you with that flexibility. And in order to support that, you would want to have a small team of people certified and knowing how to do this quickly. That's basically it. But there are no requirements for that. If you don't have these resources, it doesn't mean that you need to hire them and onboard them.
Yeah, Mike, I agree with you. And also from our side, I can tell you that we have currently this project in front of us of billing manager, and we are working closely with the bank team that actually the only things that changed from their perspective that the business owner and product owner of this solution is fully engaged even during the development process with us as a vendor, because it provides us constant inputs and feedbacks on both, look and feel, sometimes changing the flow design to their customer need on the fly. And as Mike said, it's not a new role, but it's more multi-functional team that need to work closely between business and IT, because we still need some IT guys, for example, for Microsoft Azure SSO, single sign-on authentication. We need to have this team that knows this stuff, but the whole configuration is purely configurable. So we need this multifunction team work more closely, but not creating new roles as part of this process. So I think I hope we answered your question. The second question is, do solutions developed with this tool scale well, meaning volume, performance, etc.? So the answer is yes. We actually tested this environment on different deployment architectural platforms. So as I mentioned at the beginning, Creatio platform can be deployed on both on-prem and cloud. It runs on Microsoft Azure and Amazon, as well as hybrid environment like OpenShift or totally dedicated box in the team. And the processes itself are highly optimized. So from our perspective, and I let Mike to respond from the product side, we did not feel any bottlenecks. Even some of them, since it's already prepackaged modules that were tested in the lab of Creatio, allow us a better performance that we should, optimize from scratch. So not from the database access perspective, not from the business performance response time perspective, we did not see any problems with performance as well as with scalability. Because one of the things that also need to take under consideration, this system scales as it grows with a number of users, a number of transactions that we can push. And we need, of course, design the sizing in the beginning of the project, but one is designed well. Creatio has its own templates for deployment architectural recommendations, where it can actually allow bank to grow over 2-3 years with a predicted number of users and transactional volume. So from that perspective as well, platform is very well packaged. But Mike, if you have some words on this from your side, feel free.
I think that's pretty much clear, right? So this is the whole point of having a logo platform, right? To be able to scale it up fast, right? And then maintain that base.
Yeah, agree. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have another question. If we put Amdocs into the Azure cloud, how would Creatio interact with Amdocs? Oh, this is a great question. First of all, needless to say that Amdocs has a very close relationship with all cloud providers. We have a strategic partnership with Microsoft Azure, as well as Amazon AWS and GCP, Google Platform. In that case, if you're selecting Azure as your cloud vendor, so our interaction with Creatio will be seamless, because the whole deployment, I assume the cloud Azure is something that will come from bank side. And then we are actually leveraging our deployment architecture for Microsoft Azure specifically, because you still may expect some changes in the deployment architecture between providers. However, the whole solution as well as pricing model is the same. And Creatio will just come as a built-in platform to our deployment environment. So it will be very straightforward application. By the way, we have now this exact scenario in our another client. So for us, it will be seamlessly integrated. But Mike, you have some comments on Azure specifically?
No, I mean, the main comment here is that it makes no difference for us in the deployment standpoint, right? You can have it on site, you can have it on cloud. It can be either Azure or AWS. So this is absolutely not an issue. The flexibility is there.
Yeah, I agree. Do we have any other questions from the crowd? Let's see. And if Amdocs has left on-prem? This is a nice question. so maybe it reflects to our traditional business on telecommunication market. So we are actually shifting all our portfolio to the cloud. Currently, we still have clients that prefer, mostly in telecommunication market, but also some banks, to keep us on-prem. Our billing still in the on-prem deployment. However, we are actually moving from the next year full hours billing and the ordering platform to the cloud. So our vision is to have a hybrid solutions, meaning all our Amdocs solutions are now aligned with microservices architecture. All of them are built on microservices platform with a containerized approach and Kubernetes support. So our default deployment model, in fact, is OpenShift platform. That it's in fact a hybrid Red Hat deployment environment. But the solution itself that we are developing are also can run at least in the upcoming 2-3 years on-prem. Our vision is to move most of our deployment model on the cloud. And in this case, we found Creatio also as a very attractive partner, because they also support these both deployment models. And in many deployments, we see that it actually provide us more differentiator over the market. You can imagine Salesforce guys or similar only cloud-based providers can have this limitation, in fact. So we are both aligned, but the vision is to move as much as possible solutions on the cloud. Indeed. We have another question, latency between Creatio in the cloud and Amdocs on-prem, if that is a deployment model. Okay, so it's not a deployment model, it's a kind of project-based decision that we indeed took it in this scenario where we have Amdocs billing running on-prem and Creatio running on the cloud. So there is no any latency. In fact, our APIs, as the REST APIs that we are exposing out of Amdocs platform, are optimized enough to work in this hybrid mode. We do want, of course, in our next release of our billing, to move every solution of billing manager on the cloud. So it's already announced in the beginning of 2021. But currently, we don't see any latency issue. We are testing this in different cloud deployments. So from that perspective, there is no issue. However, ideally, and it's also sometimes bank decision, ideally, of course, have the same deployment model for both solutions. But we don't see currently any challenges with this. Mike, any maybe experience from your side about this hybrid approach? Because your product is also supporting such type of APIs and integration patterns.
Yeah, it does. I cannot remember any issues reported in that regard, right? The only thing that Creatio, to add to what you just mentioned, that Creatio can be deployed either on cloud or on-site. It can be migrated from on-site and cloud later on. So as I said, all of the options are there for the customers. However, most of the banks that we have, they prefer to implement it on-site and policies of the country and other regulators of the industry.
Yeah, you are right. However, we have examples. We just recently signed a new contract in Israel, one of the latest Israel banks, that actually now running on OpenShift, but already targeting next year to do lift and shift to Azure cloud. So our solution was selected from the perspective of a future state. It was not related to Creatio still, but just for the sake of the discussion, we are looking some trend in banking industry to move some of the volumes to the cloud, starting mostly from channel application, but also we see some example of core banking application that moving their loads to the cloud. So we see some shift in that domain, and we are fully aligned with this trend from our side. Okay, we have another question. What is the timeline to get Amdocs in the Azure cloud? Okay, actually we are already on Azure cloud in some of our deployments. Speaking about a specific solution, we need to, of course, to analyze what solution you are talking about. But it's a question of weeks, because our deployment strategy, once the cloud provider is identified, is to do a scoping session with the partner of cloud provider in order to understand the specifics of this environment. But from the deployment perspective, we can move on the cloud in weeks. And I'm talking about the setup side, of course. The whole implementation side will take time according to the project requirements. Is it version dependent? Yes, you're right. Your assumption is correct. So I will take an example of Catalog 1 application that has some versioning from the years. So in Amdocs, we kept like 3 different versions of product catalog depending on different, let's say, use cases. And now we are all aligned with the one, and that's why it's called Catalog 1. One version of product catalog that all of our clients will move till the mid of the next year to this solution. Now, it does not necessarily mean that they will go to the cloud, but they will definitely take it as a microservices approach, because this is what our solutions now allows you to do. So for that mean, of course, if you are dependent on an older version of the product, we will need to discuss with you how long time it takes to upgrade it. But this is as well a predefined process. It's a question of weeks that we can do full migration to the cloud version. I hope I answered this question as well. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. I'm happy that I answered your question. Guys, any other question? We have still some time, like 10 plus minutes, so feel free to raise your question if still something is not clear. We, of course, will provide you with a full recording as well as some materials that if you'd like to get about one of the solutions that you saw on the platform, if it's at Amdocs or Creatio or our mutual one like Billing Manager. So we'll be happy to support you as a follow-up with any discussions that you want to take. I don't think that we have anything more. Mike, do you see from your side any questions?
No, it seems like there are no more questions in chat.
Okay. Okay, so I think with that we can summarize. So first of all, thank you everybody for joining our e-lunch and learn. I hope you will have some time for a lunch, not only for learn. And we'll be happy to support you. Ah, okay, there is one last question, sorry. Is there any mobile version of Creatio? Sure, the answer is yes. Mike, maybe you can elaborate something about your mobile.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking. There is a mobile version of Creatio. It is included into the original product. It means that you do not need to purchase it additionally. Again, it's also configurable, right? And might be used for different purposes, right? As for agents, for RMs as well as managers, for both corporate and retail. The configuration of section is all, of course, available. So the reporting is also available on the mobile application. It's cross-platform. So yeah.
Thank you, Mike. And the other question, so we could admin the billing from a cell phone. Yeah, actually, this is a very nice example. Amdocs today in telecommunication market, I need to say, already working like this model for a while. So every self-service activities on our billing inquiries, bill reports, etc., are already available on the mobile channel. But speaking about Creatio integration with our billings, this is exactly what you will get. So you will get a seamless experience to get any data of your billing platform. If it's historical comparison between your bills, any type of specific dispute that you may have to your contact center from customer perspective can be done from mobile. So we will design the application in a way that you will actually get all of your web kind of e-care capabilities on your mobile. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's indeed a good value-added service. For us, it's another application by means of Flow code development, by the way. It's just another app. Okay, I will let other guys to jump in. We have still some time, so no worries. Okay, so again, I think we covered more or less what we wanted to do. Thanks again for your participation. We will send you the link for the recording session as well as some contacts to touch base with me, with Mike or Nigel. And we'll be happy to meet you in our next event. Thank you very much.
Thanks everybody for attending and for all these questions. Brilliant engagement.
Thank you.